injured here. 3v3 faction war, Capital Spire Redux Tyranids versus the Orks. Blue team, we have Floid as a Lictor Alpha melee specialist that can infiltrate, good damage, disruption and harassing. Lupercal alongside is a Hive Tyrant, very durable commander, walks through cover, cannot be suppressed, fights melee to start off, good offense and support. And rounding out the Tyranids, we have Wildbold as a Ravener Alpha, starts off range combat, fantastic mobility with tunnels and some good offense. For the Orks, we have two mech boys. First off, we have Boris, also have DoW2. These are teleporting commanders that fight range, good damage output, support, can disrupt, put up structures and repair, but they're not very tough. And alongside them, we have Patbadger as a Warboss, taking a lot of damage right now, fights melee, walks through cover, good damage, disruption and support for the front lines. Getting hit by base turret spore mines right now. Going to be forced off. Hive Tyrant on his back. Double termagants opening for all three Tyranid players. Floid going into spore mines, which I think is a pretty good idea on this very compact map versus Orks. In the south we have Wildbold up against DoW2, I believe, yes, forcing melee on these shooters. And they retreat. Took a lot of models off those guys, only two left. Sluggers are chased off by Hormagaunts. I think they were trying to cap this south power. Crazy action on this map, very very compact, lots of big engagements, so it's a good idea to get AoE stuff for your commanders, such like the Seismic Roar, Rending Talons for the Hive Tyrant, and Psychic Scream also would be good. Trophy Rack and Boss Pole for the Warboss would be great. Lictor Alpha has taken down this mech boy here. 457, 490, this is the north, which is blue for the Tyranids. Wildbold now capping the south, and Tyranids might get a quick triple here. This is the third matchup between Orks and Tyranids. Orks are 2-0 up, and Floid is not happy, let me tell you. Lupercal now has a warrior brood on the field, start off melee, heavy infantry unit, grant a synapse. Spore mine still on the field for Floid. Sluggers capping that wreck point, not wanting to get involved otherwise. Double shooters here, shooting up those spore mines. As you can see, Boris very quickly getting knob leaders so he can spot that infiltrated Lictor Alpha. Knob leaders for shooters are detectors, you can tell by the eye icon. Meanwhile south, looks like Wildbold is going to be forced off here. Center, Warboss again forced off by that big Hive Tyrant. 1080 HP to start off, the toughest commander in the game off the bat. Warboss can become tougher though in tier 3 with heavy armor. 457, 416, south power still uncapped. Wildbold keeping these termagants in play behind cover. It's very difficult to get large squads like termagants and guardsmen behind cover effectively. Sluggers forced off here. No, they're sticking around with two models. Triple shooters for DoW2. Wildbold responds with warrior brood, most likely going to get Barb Strangler to try and control those shooters, I would think. Hive Tyrant and Lictor Alpha doubling top and run away Boris. There we go. These sluggers get away though. One model 38 hit points, sorry, two models, they'll be fine. Now this power's getting hit. This power very very difficult to defend for both teams. They also have this one in the southwest and southeast corners. Much easier to defend these. Triple shooters for DoW2, and he has knob leader for one, but no big shooters yet. Cannot control those Hormagaunts with suppression. Maybe we'll see the death gun for the mech. Boris, I know, likes to use electric armor, and he already has it. Gonna be really really bad for those termagant blobs. Wildbold doing a good job holding off DoW2. But now we have Storm Boys on the field, and they're going to be really really bad news for the warrior brood, who do not have a Barb Strangler. Looks like Wildbold's keeping these guys as melee. A big mistake I think against triple shooters. You need that suppression to try and control them. We have a Ravener Alpha with hardened carapace, allows him to indefinitely burrow like this and then leap up to disrupt. using him in melee here. Warrior Brood retreat. Those power weapons of those Storm Boys, really bad news for their heavy armor. Here comes Sluggers for Patbadger now. 435, 404. A 1-to-1 cap. The south is uncapped. Ouch. Was that Sluggers wiped for Dowron? No, they get away. 42 hit points on a single model. Termagant's now forced off. Storm Boys doing a really good job for Dowron. They will bleed you, Storm Boys, but if you can get them in right, they will tear stuff up in tier 1. Dowron now caps the south for a 2-to-1 for the Orks. Hive Tyrant comes mid though to recap. Orks have both of these wreck points somehow. 427, 404. No looters. Oh, we do see looters for Boris. Storm Boys for Patbadger and Dowron, thinking ahead, I think, to zone ropes in tier 2. I'm going to close the distance on them quickly. Floid Burrow strikes his Ravener Brood in and then instantly retreats. Should have stayed in the combat, or maybe not. Storm Boys were right there. 425, 403. Patbadger has come north and is capping that VP. Big shooting match. Termagants don't want to go up against triple shooters, that's for sure. Mech Boy forced off by Hormagaunts. Do they have their adrenal glands? They do. So they're a bit tougher and a bit more dangerous, but now caught by Storm Boys. He's going to lose his squad. Ouch. Wildbold goes tier 2. Storm Boys chasing off the Raven Alpha alongside Sluggers. He has a big decision to make. Does he get zone thropes, which will be very nice versus triple shooters, but risky against Storm Boys? Or does he go melee, maybe get some Tyrant Guard in there? 416, 498. Warboss has no war gear and will be forced off by this little range blob that Floyd has. He's keeping his Raveners in melee. Nope, we do see the Devourer now. He's hit tier 2. And a zone thrope on the way as well. Floyd is going for a zone thrope, and so is Lupercal. Center is blue for the Tyranids. It's a 2-to-1 cap though for the Orks. None of the Orks going tier 2 yet. Quite a heavy tier 1 from them, and it's paying off so far. Storm Boys chasing Warriors into base. Look at this, 11 hit points on these guys, and they force off the Orks. And now they can reinforce. A very lucky escape for Wildbold. As you can see, he's given these guys their adrenal glands. So Wildbold will have a big tasty melee synapse on the field. Is he going to get Gene Stealers then? 392, 398, very close. 1-to-1 cap. Lictor Alpha stalking around. No war gear for this guy. Here comes Lupercal. Both the zone thropes on the field now. This is Floyd's. This is Lupercal's artillery unit that doesn't need to set up. Doesn't do friendly fire, and its projectile has no flight time. Lots of good pluses, but it is very vulnerable. Doesn't do quite as much damage as the other artillery units either. 392, 398 still. Tyranid is trying to take the south. North is uncapped. Mech Boy with the battery pack perhaps to support these Storm Boys, and looking ahead to Knobs. Here comes the Warboss now, helping out in the south. Ravener Alpha is burrowed. He's going to disrupt these Sluggers and Storm Boys. Nicely done. But he's not going to be able to hang in melee with them, no way. He has the Acid Splatter now. Will be really effective versus Orks in melee, but can he hang in melee? Does he have anything to support him to get into melee? He's purchased nothing in tier 2 apart from these adrenal glands and the Acid Splatter. No sign of Gene Stealers or a Tyrant Guard or anything. Not sure what he's up to. 392, 374, tier 2 for Patbadger now, the last to go. These Bar Strangler Warriors for Lupercal really helping him out. This VP has been mostly Tyranids, I think. They have a 2-to-1, a double even. It's going to be a 2-to-1. Mech Boy is capping south. And look at this, they're hitting Power Orks. Storm Boys jumping. The Termagants stunning them when they land because they have the big powerful Knob Leader there. Sluggers using Swampum, going up against the Raven Alpha, trying to use Acid Splatter, but he's caught again, a bit too low on health and can't stand up long enough, needs a bit more. And look at this, Wildbold going tier 3, huge risk, completely skipping tier 2 pretty much, going straight to tier 3. Will he be able to protect this power though long enough for him to get something big? Victor Alpha of Floid, forced to retreat level 2, has no war gear. Halfway to level 3, Stormboys can now decap this power. 392303. Double cap for the Tyranids though. Patbadger only has 3 units on the field, much like Wildbold and Floid. Now getting some stick bombers, that's going to be very, very lethal. Floid losing his zone throat incidentally, now getting another one. Center Orks again forced off of this VP. Lupercal's done a decent job looking after it. Look at this Hive Tyrant, he's gone for the Venom Cannon, Bioplasma and Extended Carapace. A very strange loadout for the Hive Tyrant, I would have thought. Rendon Talons and Psychic Scream would have been way better on this map. Bioplasma especially is quite an underpowered war gear right now, barely does more damage than the zone throw shot and has none of the benefits. There's a big foot of Gork on his retreating Tyranids. Bang! Didn't do a lot of damage to them in retreat, but has knocked them down. Boris, very much a fan of using the foot of Gork and rocks, of course, alongside the Mega Rumbler. Hive Tyrant trying to cap. Mech Boy capping south, 382266. Orks again pushing power here. Can Wildbold defend? He has quite a lot of power to go before he can get a Khan effect or something. Very small power income, as you can see, for the Tyranids because they lost this power as well. Orks are pushing against it. Sluggers in base taking tons of damage. Rapid Alpha really kick their ass there with Acid Splatter, and they get away with just 2 models. Have their Knob Leader, of course. Dauron not getting big shooters for his shooter boys. Doesn't really have much that he needs to suppress, can easily outshoot the Termagants. And Raven Alpha goes down there. Warriors jumping into combat, lose a model. Wildbold really struggling to hold on with this non-existent tier 2 of his. How much red does he have? Almost has enough for a Tyrant formation in tier 3. 339259. Big zone throw shot there. Sluggers though using Swampin to get in amongst these Bile Strangle Warriors and knocked down by their own Weird Boy, which always happens for Orc players. Another big foot of Gork on this blob. Termagants are going to get hit. Ouch. Almost wiped the entire squad. Hive Tyrant still kicking, now retreats. Termagants down to 3 models for Floid. And they're hanging in here. We have not seen a single brood nest from Lupercal that I can see. 339238. 2-to-1 cap for the Tyranids. They do have a VP lead. Taking a lot of losses though. Boris goes tier 3, as does Dauron. Dauron halfway there. Wildbold has been tier 3 for quite a while, but hasn't had the power to get anything. These triple shooters have been so painful for Wildbold. No Barbed Strangler was a huge mistake, I think. These melee warriors haven't really been able to do anything. Now they are in amongst these shooters, going after the Weird Boy. Would be a big loss for Dauron to lose this, but he does get away. All 3 Orc players getting a Weird Boy. Very good choice versus Tyranids in general. Zone Throat for Floyd still kicking. Lupercal has lost his. Both the Stormboy squads still around. Level 2 for Dauron. Patbadgers are still level 1 though. And these are Daurons. Not too far off level 3. Level 3 Stormboys are pretty nasty. 325, 223. A single cap for the Orcs. Wildbold is taken south though. Gonna be a 2-to-1 for the Orcs. Gene Stealers on the way for Floyd. Gene Stealers on the way for Lupercal. Neither of them have melee synapse though right now. And look at this, Boris getting a Knobs squad out already. That's going to be really, really painful. Going to need to manage their Quick Pin Poison very well to deal with those Knobs. 309223. Custom Force Field up for Dauron's Mech Boy. Here come Wild Bolts, Raven Alpha again, just hugely outnumbered. Look at the damage he did to those sluggers with just 2 hits, but is forced off. 298, 223, 2 to uncap for the Orks. Warboss runs away, he has the Bang Bang Hammer now. Barb Strangler shot on these sluggers who are getting very close to base, and here come Gene Stealers for Lupercal. Elite tier 2 infantry for Tyranids. Really high damage potential and can be really tough with melee synapse as well. But we don't have any of that. We do have melee synapse from Wild Bold, so we could hang around Wild Bold's warriors for melee synapse. 269, 223. Stick bombers take a big hit from their allied Weird Boy artillery unit that actually fight melee, but they chuck bombs around most of the time and can wipe out squads quite easily, especially Tyranids. Lictor Alpha decaps the north, but is forced off. Meanwhile, center, Boris's weird mech boy, trying to use electric armor on the Gene Stealers, is now out of energy and flees. Frenzy goes off. Up against Knobs though. These Gene Stealers already have their rending claws, giving them some crazy heavy melee damage. Forced off though by Knobs. They cannot stand against Knobs without support. Little can. Stick bombs go in. Here are Floyd's Gene Stealers. Tyranids could really do with a brood nest around about here, I think. Would help against attacks on both VPs. Meanwhile, south is red. Mech Boy tied up by Termagants in melee, or the other way around probably. Termagants haven't even leveled yet. Wild Bold finally has a Carnifex on the field, and he has gone for the Thornback. Tyranids really need a big line breaker since the Hive Tyrant has this ranged build going. So this is going to be a big help, absolutely owning those Storm Boys, and now almost taking down the Warboss. Here come Knobs. Floyd is supporting Knobs use Frenzy, making them invulnerable. And warriors need to flee. 158, 223. Double cap for the Orks, and look at their unit rosters. Looking very strong. Patbadger floating almost 1,000 requisition. Dalron also floating tons of resources. Might be going for a battle wagon or more Knobs perhaps. 145, 223. Storm Boys jump in, then flee. Don't want to fight with the Gene Stealers. Sluggers also fleeing. Tyrant formation going off, trying to hit this stuff in retreat. Just about misses. So unlucky whoever did that. I think Wild Bold, judging from his red. Hive Tyrant caught in retreat is going to go down. Yes, I think the Warboss did it. Spore Mines dropped by Floyd. This is a global ability of the Lictor Alpha. They get one detonation off, but took a big Weird Boy hit and are pretty much taken out. Wild Bold's Adrenal Gland warriors coming in, and here's his Carnifex. 1875 on vehicle armor with health regeneration. If you can start leveling these monstrous creatures up, they can be nasty, going over 2,000 hit points. There's a Mega Rumbler disrupting those Gene Stealers, and they are taken out by Knobs, are they? No, survive with 4 hit points. They get back to base. South is blue. Wild Bold has his Carnifex in the center though, so doesn't have much here to help him hold this VP. Still has Termagants. Level 2. Here comes the Carnifex with a big charge. And Dalron doesn't really have any anti-vehicle. Could get the Beamy Death Gun for his Mech Boy. Has the custom force field. Boris has the super tough beam to support his Knobs. And here come Dalron's Knobs, and this Carnifex is now in huge amounts of trouble. Wipes out some sluggers. No, took out the Knob leader, but 2 sluggers do get away. Here comes Wild Bold to try and support this Carnifex. Don't think it can charge out. It's still on cooldown. 145, 147. A no cap. Nobody has taken a victory point. So close in VPs. Here comes a Swarm Lord for Lupercal, and that can change things. Storm of Blades can really hurt Nobs, and since it's such a small map, he should be able to easily get away and back to base without having to use Leech Essence. Center is now red. That was a Tyranids formation here. Don't think it hit anything. Tyranids have pretty much wasted 2 Tyranids formations now. Raven Alpha goes down. Level 3. Hive Tyrants level 2. This very strange build. Haven't seen them use Bioplasma yet. I'm sure he has though. Floid Lictor Alpha now level 2. Has Adrenal Glands and Menacing Visage, and this is going to really help against Nobs in big engagements. Mech Boy level 4 for Boris. Dalron's level 5. And the Warboss level 3 has that Bang Bang Hammer. Ripper's taken out. Wildbolt did preserve his Carnifex, now has it between bases, regenerating health, and has another Carnifex on the way. Swarmlord hits the field for Lupercal. Super unit for Tyranids. Very dangerous in melee, has vehicle armor, a monstrous creature, so will regenerate health. Has a speed buff and reinforcement synapse, which is really going to help out these Tyranids in this central VP. And he's now using Leech Essence and kicking some serious ass. Wiped out Nobs, I think? No. They get away with 3 models. Here are Dalron's Nobs now going up against the Carnifex, the Swarmlord, sorry. These Nobs do heavy melee damage despite that fist icon. So they are making short work of this Swarmlord, headbutting it to death. Swarmlord now backing off. There was the Bioplasma shot from the Hive Tyrant, did very little to the Nobs, as you saw there. You really need to hit it flush. Hive Tyrant doesn't want to get into melee with them. Barb Strangler warriors suppressing the Nobs. Ouch. Beamy Death Gun Looter getting big shots on the Swarmlord, and it just about gets away here. Nobs can now try and run right if they can take care of these Warrior Brood. 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 2. There's a Foot of Gork. Dodged by pretty much everything. Storm Boys took a hit, but they were in retreat. And here's a Mega Rumbler at the top. And looks like a Rox was probably dropped here at some point. Floyd has lost a lot of stuff as well. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 1. It's a 2-to-1 cap for the Tyranids. Can they hold on here? Wildbolt has double Thornback Carnifexes. Should have got Barb Strangler for 1, I think. They have a lot of infantry, the Orks. In fact, they are all infantry. And as soon as I say that, Dalron gets a looted tank. Use your choppers on these Nobs. They're going to kill that Carnifex so quickly with those hammers at full momentum. And look at the damage that the Carnifex took. Wildbolt might lose both of them here. Can he charge out? I hear a Rox. Mainly dodged by those Tyranids. And Tyranids bringing a lot of stuff to the center, looking quite strong here. They need to focus on 2 of the VPs, I think. Orks have a unit advantage. Tyranids need to stick together. Swarmlord kicking some ass. Super tough beam though on these Orks. From the Mech Boy. Making the Nobs even tougher. Gene Stealers for Lupercal with their Rending Claws level 2. Floids are very nearly level 2. North is uncapped. Sluggers still running around for Boris. And we do have some melee synapse now for Floyd. These Gene Stealers with almost 2,000 hit points at level 2. Here's a Mega Rumbler. There it is. Disrupting all of this stuff. Doesn't look like he's got anything nasty to drop in the meantime. Mega Rumbler is something you cannot retreat from, which is what makes it so dangerous. Double cap for the Tyranids. 109.78 Orks need to cap up if they're going to have a chance of preserving this record. Tyrant formation on this Mech Boy trying to cap uses his custom force field. And he's not knocked down by the Spire. Nicely done by Dalron. Nobs now capping center. Hive Tyrant using Bioplasma knocks down the Nobs. It does have a use then. 109.56. Tyranids have a single cap. Swarmlord still stomping around for Lupercal. Cannot level, of course, since it's a super unit. and is now backing off. Hive Tyrant taken down by Nobs. Nobs catching the Carnifex in retreat. All three Orc players have one Nob squad each. Wild Bowl's Raven Alpha goes down, and he has very little health. Has what, level 3 warriors, level 3 termagants. Now getting another Carnifex. Rocks in the retreat path of this Swarm Lord, trying to dodge it. Pot luck, and his luck ran out. Gets smashed by a Rocks right to the forehead. 107.54 Orcs now have a single, and Tyranids all of a sudden looking very thin. Orcs are going to get a double hit. Tyranids do take the center, maybe not. They get a 2-to-1. 102.54. Gene Sillers for Floid, using Frenzy to regain health of each hit. There's a tornado formation on that Shooter Boy blob. That will be nasty, but they are being moved. Weird Boy gets hit, but the rest of the Orcs avoid it, and that's been a big difference. Tyranids unable to make their tornado formations count. Lictor Alpha trying to cap the north, now gives up. Sorry, this is a Lictor, not a Lictor Alpha. Lictor Alpha is down in the center. Lictor Alpha, Lictor, a very nice unit in tier 3, has heavy melee, good DPS. Don't think he wants to go up against this level 4 Warboss though, with heavy armor and trophy rack and the Bang Bang Hammer. One more hit would take out the Lictor, but he doesn't. 59.54, a single cap for the Orcs. South is uncapped. Here comes a Carnifex again, charging in, and again with Thornback. 3 Thornback Carnifexes for Wild Bold. Needs to support this one. Does he have anything left? Here they come. Raven Alpha still down. Hive Tyrant still down. Now getting a Carnifex's Lupercal. Will it even get to the field in time? Gene Stealer's trying to cap this Northern VP, but they are taken out by Nobs. And now this tier 3, no, this is the Lictor Alpha, sorry, with Corrosive Claws. Gonna put out a lot of damage, but is forced off here. Battle Wagon hits the field for Boris, and Orcs surely have this. Gonna be a double, yes, 29.54. Looted tank on the field for Dauron. Carnifex taken down by Nobs. These guys are now level 4, 5,247 hit points, good grief. 13.54. Orcs are going to finish this with a triple, I think, and Orcs take it. It's going to be 3-0 for the Orcs in this matchup. Floyd not happy at all. Very enjoyable game. Wild Bold, I think, make a big mistake not getting anything in tier 2. Could not defend the power to get Carnifexes out quickly enough. Also missed a lot of Tyranno formations, and this Hive Tyrant was pretty strangely kitted out. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time, and thanks to all the players who took part.